Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and we're evolving daily, hourly, and minutely, depending on what's going on. The download for you this morning, bright and early at the crack of dawn, is this. In the beginning, you will be petty, and that's okay. As we are leaving some toxic relationships of every stripe, color, and flavor, whether it's platonic or romantic, you will have some petty days and you will judge yourself, especially if you were dealing with a narcissist. Because a narcissist projects on you all of their evil traits and they hate you for your empathy and your sensitivity. They despise you for that and they want to make you devoid of it and strip you of it. And that's usually what's happening in the smear campaign. It's their attempt to bring you down to their level so that they can have an even playing field. Pigs love to be in the mud. So, okay, one of the doctors on here that I really enjoy, I think his name is Rod, talks has a pillow literally that says "Don't wrestle with the pigs," and he's talking about narcissists specifically. Mm. A little morning tea, hydration. You guys know what I'm about. Um, and so it's important to know that you will have those petty days. And I want you to give yourself a little bit of leeway and let yourself off the hook for the things that you might feel and or say. You are highly provoked and highly pushed usually in the discarding situation with any narcissist or the ending of a toxic relationship or a relationship period. Let's say it was a perfectly healthy one, but it ended. Feelings will be hurt inevitably. And that means that you have an ego, empath, divine feminine, and you will be petty. I remember feeling in the days of the initial part when I was filled with hatred and I had a black heart, black hole sun, oh, won't you come? When I was all there and all of my emotions and everything and despair. I remember hating that person so deeply and wanting her to know that as hateful as she was and as cruel as she was, that there was someone in the world who finally saw her. You know, when you take the mask off the narcissist, there's a bit of satisfaction that comes with it, as well as being horrified. But I remember thinking, I want you to know that as long as you have life, you narcissist hater, that there is someone in this world that hates you more than you could ever hate them. That's where my energy resided. It's the truth. And I think that a lot of us judge ourselves for feeling that. And that's exactly how I felt. I was like, I don't care. You know, what the narcissist does is they invalidate you. They do a lot of tricks, to make you second guess yourself and feel crazy and to gaslight you. And when you see them clearly, oh man, don't you see them clearly, right? And when you see what's been happening, or you understand a strategy that's been happening in triangulation, or you understand what a discard situation is, when you start to educate yourself, meaning when you start to watch videos like this and the myriad plethora that are available here for you on YouTube for free, it's amazing. It's a whole encyclopedia, and you really start to take back your energy. And I definitely felt that though. But I was like, no one's gonna hate you more than me. And it was so funny. I was thinking of that song by Lauryn Hill. I don't know if it's not the X Factor. In it, it's from her album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And the refrain is, because no one loves you more than me and no one ever will, except when I exited the situation in the last year. I was thinking probably that we were sharing energy because energy is shared, and I thought no one hates you more than me, and no one ever will. For whatever nonsense you got away with a lot of persons that overlooked it or enabled it, I will be the person that holds you accountable in eternity, in perpetuity, forever. And that doesn't mean that you stay connected to that person and you throw it in their face. In fact, that's not at all what I did. I did quite the opposite of that. But I was petty. I was petty in my emotions and my feelings. I just didn't let her get the reaction that she so wanted from me, which was some huge like fight and to the death, and like she was worthy of that. She wasn't. She wasn't worthy of that at all. And your narcissists are not either, okay? They offer no value to you. They have been horrible people to you. And I think a lot of us, if you really take a step back, romanticized a lot of the relationship, and it may have been about very low vibrational things. So, there are various niches here for narcissistic abuse and recovery. I happen to be a metaphysical niche for that. I'm speaking specifically to divine feminine energy too, that is recovering from that, or divine masculine energy that's recovering from that. hey Gilly, if you're here. So that's what I want you guys to understand, is that a lot of what you thought was so magical was not love at all, okay? Because narcissists don't love and they don't have the capacity to. And a lot of what you romanticized about the connection between you two may have existed in a very low vibrational state. Let me explain. It could be that you guys had sex. It could be what you guys know, the trick of sex with a narcissist. I may make just a separate video about that, addressing that, because the trick of the sex with a narcissist is this, that it starts out maybe great and then they use it as a control mechanism. They withhold and they're not great in bed at all once you realize who they are. So whoever they can fool afterwards in their life, you might get a little chuckle about that when you realize that their sexual energy brings nothing but strife, because energy is shared, and what is within a narcissist is despair and hatred and anger. So that's what they're giving you sexually. You guys think it's so magical, but when you get out of the fog, you'll see what it really was. And when you make love with someone, and I say make love, I want love, man, make love. I'm thinking of Gucci Man, which is so ghetto. But listen, guys, he has a song called Make Love. But when you make love with somebody, let's make love all night long. That's a country song. I don't know who that is right offhand. Oh, that's Faith Hill. Yes, I love Faith Hill and Tim McGraw's energy. Fantastic synergy. They have a Capricorn and a Pisces marriage. She's a Cappy. He's a Pisces. But in any case, oh, that's funny. I have a video up here, like We Never Loved at All. So maybe someone needs to go listen to that. It's a tarot reading, but it was my interpretation of the disillusion of a relationship, like We Never Loved at All. Maybe somebody needs to go see that. So go check that out. In any case, let's make love. When you make love with somebody, when you really connect with someone, when you have tantric sex, when you have some two people that are interested in each other, it's different. And I will be doing a separate video, Mr. Chalk Chalk. When you're here and you watch this, yes, I will address some of the sexual questions that you had, for sure. Listen, guys, you have romanticized the connection to some degree, even if it was platonic. It was based in low vibrational stuff like gossip, materialism, maybe drug addiction. You understand, guys? And I'm not blaming you. We all exist there because we all can be low vibrational. We all have egos and we all can be petty and we all evolve. That's what the name of this channel is. We don't come here knowing everything and being these perfect paragons of anything. And I don't think we're perfect paragons now. But I want to give you guys a little bit of slack and get that monkey off your back regarding feeling like, God, I let them bring me down, and God, I was just as bad as them. No, you were never as bad as them. Because the truth is, sweet empath, you were actually trying to be their friend. You actually saw the darkness in them, and you fed them and fed them and fed them, and they took it and ran with it. And they fed it to whoever they wanted to, and they really got inflated sensibilities. Now, since I will indulge you in your petty here, because if you're here and you clicked on this video, you can relate to this emotion. Here's what you need to know. You literally boosted them. I'm just going to tell you, it was your light and your energy. You made someone believe that they were more magical than they ever could be. And they believed you so well because that's what we give. We give, an imbuement of our energy, an imbuement of power, and an uplift. And we edify and we point out the best things about a person. We see their potential, and they get high on the fumes of the potential that they think they have. And then when you remove your energy, they are down bad, and they realize it's a farce, and they realize that the best part of what was happening in their life, it wasn't just because you were there, but it's because you were shining a light. Okay, that's why I say you romanticize it. So if you're having moments where you're like, oh, but I just, what did we have? When I separated from the narcissist, I realized well, I got to realize it before the separation happened, so I was very grateful for that. But I wish you guys could have had my experience. For some of you here that have written me letters and I've talked to in the lives and stuff like that, I wish you could have had my experience, because it was optimal. It was the best experience I could have had, considering how horrible and cruel and ridiculous. I didn't have to get really down and dirty like a lot of your letters have shared with me, and fights and jails and arrest and abuse in physical ways and stuff like that. Yes, we all suffer abuse. If you've been with a narcissist, every one of us was abused. However, um, yeah, my heart breaks for so many of you for the stories that I've heard. And I wish that you could have had my experience where, it was a little bit different. But that's what happens when you're spiritually aligned. And it's not to say that you weren't, but I was very much in tune with my spirituality. And so God bless, and I'm so grateful I got to heal before I left, so it didn't like the devastation wasn't as devastating. What was devastating was realizing I was in an illusion. And I think that's what a lot of us deal with. So when you feel that and you finally feel like, God, this person was pulling the wool over my eyes the whole time and I was complicit, a bit of petty will emerge, and you will think things and wish things and hope things and wonder about things and second guess things, and you'll be petty, but it's okay. There's a place for petty. Petty will play. And you will feel all of your feelings night and day for a little while, and then you will move on. I also want you here, the place I am now, the place where there is no fear. I am not scared of the narcissist. I am not worried about her. I could care less. And I'm not gonna lie and say that I still, even though I've divested and I feel better, I'm not gonna lie. You heard that throat chakra hit. That's the truth. Let me take a sip of my tea here. Mm, that's the truth. That is the truth. There's a part of me that still stands firm in understanding that I feel that I saw the truth of who that person was, and I'm delighted. And when I say I'm delighted, it wasn't a delightful experience. You guys that have been through it understand what I mean. But I'm delighted because she can no longer pull the wool over me. And someone as cruel and as hateful as she is mirrors that back to her now energetically. I don't mirror her hate, but I mirror the stance of stubbornness and resistance, which she thought she was so great at. I actually and literally, um, I will say, in the beginning, I took great pleasure in understanding someone. Like I said with that song, no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will. That's how I used to feel about her, just in happier moments, and love bombing moments and all that stuff. And when I realized what a shill it was, then it was no one hates you more than me, and no one ever will. And I know hate's such a strong word. But when you've dealt with a narcissist, I think it's apropos. I think it is. I think it's apropos. And so I thought, I sat in that, and it was a comfortable place, that petty place, I will tell you, where I was like, no one hates you more than me, and no one ever will. And you will feel that about someone who's been duplicitous with you and cruel intentionally. When you reflect back onto the moments where they could have offered you humanity, I think of actually falling in front of her or having a tearful cry about my sister who was battling cancer and the coldness that I was received with. And so I mirror that wall back to her in my own exit, where it was like, I not only see you, but if you think you hate people, girl, you have no idea. And I found comfort there. Okay, so I don't want you guys to judge yourself and think that you're terrible people or that the narcissist has somehow infected you. Richard Grannon and Dr. Sam Vincent and Richard Grannon have teamed up. Richard Grannon has a lot of work. He's here on YouTube. Oh, Crappy Childhood Fairy just put out a new video, which I think is fantastic, about how childhood abuse makes you comfortable with accepting half love in relationships. Just put that video. I haven't even watched it, but I saw the title, and Emily, if you're here listening, I thought of you and me and all of us. Okay, so no finger pointing, but there are some people that I work with here and that I'm friends with here, parasocially and otherwise, that I know their energy and stories, and I thought, we can relate. Pot kettle, I am black. Okay, so no, take no offense to that, anybody that I've recommended that to, but anyway, I haven't watched it yet, so this may be something that will be good for you if you're here listening. She's called the Crappy, which is just such a brilliant name, the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and she breaks down all aspects of our relationship dynamics, what we accept, why we accept less, why we think limerence is love. So many beautiful things that have just helped me. I don't watch her as much as I used to. When you're leaving a situation, you find like this refuge. It's like an oasis in the desert. And I certainly utilized her when need be. But when that popped up in my feed, because I'm subscribed to her, it popped up in the algorithm, I thought, oh, I'm supposed to watch that. So maybe I can get a deeper understanding about why I was attracted to so many narcissists and how I had so many best friends that were. And I know that because of my father injury, just like you guys do. But it's nice to really break it apart and really parse it down and get it to. Anyway, back to Richard Grannon and Dr. Sam Vincent. They do a lot of work about how the narcissist can make you a narcissist too, right? And HG Tutors, he's got a really kind of like distinct voice. He's British, and It sounds like he's reading a fairy tale. He's fantastic. He's done tons of work on Meghan Markle and various other narcissistic dynamics, but his high focus is being British, I believe, is Meghan Markle. In any case, he does fantastic breakdowns. He is a narcissist, actually, and he discloses that, but he's helping you to understand the pathology of narcissism. I mean, I think probably a pretty good shill for him as a narcissist to get all this attention, but he's telling the truth. You know, when you listen to it, it resonates as truth if you've ever dealt with a narcissist. So he has no mercy. He kind of, for any sweet empath, it's all mushy and like, I just want to work on forgiving him. He's like, the narcissist, we don't give a damn about your feelings, not one damn. We're using it against you. We're looking at what emotional things trigger you, and we are like trying to hurt you. So it's refreshing if you have the stomach for it. And he's got a creepy, when I say creepy, his voice is distinct. It almost sounds like a fairy, like a Grimm's fairy tale. So go over there and listen. He's really good at what he does. He's really, really good. I really am curious about his chart because I know that there must be some Gemini mercurially sat in his chart. His communication style is like bar none. It's incredible. So go check him out if you want to hear it from the narcissist's mouth in an articulate, interesting, and captivating way. Because he's a narcissist, but he has a lot to say. He has tons of content. But Dr. Sam Vincent, who is like the godfather of narcissistic writing and communication, and Richard Grannon talk all the time about how Richard Grannon, especially, I think, was particularly triggered. He's a British guy as well, but about how whomever his narcissistic interactions were projected upon him, and how the narcissist can make you a narcissist. And it's all true. There is merit in all of these people, from the crappy childhood fairy to Dr. Vincent to Richard Grannon to HG tutors. You're going to find something that is there for you. And so then maybe there's a little bit of food I was supposed to share with you guys. And these are some of the tools that I utilized in order to facilitate my healing and my understanding, not just of the covert narcissistic relationship that I got out of a few years ago, but of all of the reasons why I was attracted to these relationships, repeatedly trying to fix people. So back to the petty. So you're judging yourself. You think you're a narcissist, or you think you're a bad person because they've smear campaigned you. They did it quietly. Maybe you didn't hear about it. Maybe you did. Maybe you were fighting the community. Maybe they were talking about you badly. I was working with a client recently who knew that her partner was cheating. We'd worked together. The predictions came through. Her prediction came through with her own intuition, so it wasn't any surprise that I was telling her. And then we had scheduled a session. At the close of our session that we had, we scheduled a session out 2 weeks, and we had the session I think a couple days ago. And the day before our session, she had, was it the day before her session? That was another person that had a breakup. It's a Mercury retrograde and eclipse, so a lot of breakups are happening for things that were toxic. But within the time frame that we hadn't spoken, the week or two before our next session, she literally everything blew up. So the tower fell. You know, all the things that we talked about and I was kind of getting her prepared for and that I saw incoming, it just fell apart. And we were dealing with her heart, but also really quick turnaround time with someone who'd been waiting to kind of jump on the bandwagon and be like, I've been so into you, I've been waiting a year. So it's funny, guys, Divine Feminine, that's a little message for you that are in despair of like, love will never come. Oh yeah, it absolutely comes. And I'm not saying she's in love. She's got a lot of work and healing to do, and I caution her about a new boo. But what the thing about a new boo is sometimes we get that in escrow for pain and suffering. God will send us someone who's like so focused on us and loves us really, and is there. And maybe they'll stay the whole journey, or maybe they're just there as a vehicle for a little while. But either way, they're there to make you smile because you were dealing with craziness as someone who was wild. So we were dealing with that, but the tower fell, and she got smear campaigned by him. And it was, they had a twin flame relationship, so they had broken up and been together for 20 plus years and all of that. I kind of specialize in that genre. Unfortunately, the thing also message, the area of your trauma will be the place that you can help edify people. So I wondered why I got drugged through the mud the way I did, and why I was treated the way I was, and why I was not seen as quote unquote enough when that person was never enough and had nothing to offer me. I want you to really look at your narcissist. What do they have to offer you? Were you edifying them? Were you uplifting them? Were you financially helping them? You were doing things for them that you didn't even value because you didn't value yourself. You didn't look at it as like you had a lot to offer. And when you start to value yourself and you realize that you're the prize, then it's easy to say goodbye. So in any case, this person started to realize her worth as we were working together. And if you start working with a practitioner, depending on their vibration, they're going to create change for you. My advocacy is not just to always break up with people because that's not always the thing to do. However, when I can tell someone's using somebody, and if they are guided to me, because she was a referral, she was a word of mouth referral, right? I had all kinds of interesting things happen. I had a recent referral. Someone met someone in an airport. They couldn't remember, it was someone that I know, and they were like, you need to get a reading from this person. And so I got a new client that was from Toledo. Like, who knew? Like, God is so amazing. Like, people are calling me from all over the world, literally. I've said that, but it's now the thing that we create. Also, think about how powerful your words are. So speak life over you. If you want love, you will have that too. But back to this. So this happens with her. She is devastated, but he smear campaigns her to her family. She says it was the most egregious smear campaign. They've been together off and on for 25 plus years, and this was the worst. And he said things, he admitted things about how he was purposely using her money and taking it because they were building a house allegedly, and he was not, it was not getting built, and she didn't understand. And as I was doing the reading, I was discovering that he was lying, you know, and whatever, and he was siphoning the money, and he admitted it. Everything that I predicted, he admitted. It's not because of me, it was because it was time to come out. That's what eclipses are about. It was time to come out. I didn't think that much activity would have happened between our last reading and the current reading we had, but it was time for her to not just be sad anymore, but for her to see the truth and to set herself free. Sometimes we'll give so much in a cycle to a narcissist and someone who's stealing our energy that the universe intervenes because they're like, enough. Your ancestors intervene, your angels intervene. They're pissed at that person, and they're like, they've made enough of a scene, enough. And that's when the tower falls, and we're like, this is horrible. No, I've been working so hard to keep it together. It needed to fall apart. But she said it broke her heart because he went to her mother, he went to her cousin, he went to her sister, he went to her children, he went to everybody, even children. I think that they might even share a child, and started saying things about her, projecting all of the things he was doing about cheating and this and that. That was never her energy, not even a little bit. But she felt terrible, and then she felt petty. And that's where this message comes from today, because I had to remind her it's okay to be in a petty way. He just tried you. Now, the reason that he did that is so that you can't go back. Sometimes the universe will allow it to be so terrible that the disrespect can never be repaired. And I know he will long for her and be in despair. Y'all know how this goes. Any of you guys that have disembarked, and they'll try to hoover you back. But she'll stand firm, and we're going to support her energetically. Send a prayer up to her right now. If you've ever been through this, you don't know who she is. She's out of the country, but just send a prayer for her and just be like, we're holding space for you, sis, because she needs it. Because we all do in those times. But don't judge yourself for when you're like thinking horrible things and you're not feeling fine. I embraced my petty. I didn't let anybody talk me out of it. I didn't let my friends that were thinking like, oh my gosh, this has gone on too long. Like, how are you not? No, I did what I think a lot of people don't have the luxury to do, is I processed it completely and totally until I was through. And then when I was through, new things started happening, and and the universe let me know it was time to move on. But I did not try to shorten my petty. In fact, I let it be prolonged. Okay, you can't stay in bitterness, and you can't hate them forever, and whatever the case may be. No, you will evolve naturally, but it won't happen until it happens actually. So don't force yourself out of a state of repetitive thoughts or whatever the case may be. Sure, get up, go outside, go for a walk, do things, have fun, get back into society. But it won't happen until you're ready, guys. If you want to force yourself off the couch before you're done being depressed, it's not going to happen. When I was depressed and I was hurt because I realized I wasn't depressed because I lost a narcissist. She was of no use to me. She was utterly useless, as most narcissists are. Their whole thing is smoke and mirrors, making them think that they've raised, making you think that they've raised the bar when you are always the highest bar that they'll ever have. If you're a good supply, you know what I'm talking about. They will never replicate your connection. And that's not us being crazy, it's the truth. It is. We are the sweetest of confections, aren't we, guys? So when I realized, like, what an utterly useless basura piece was I dealing with, and I thought that she was so lovely. Wow, I didn't love myself. You know, you start to have all those realizations. And so when you do, it's okay. That I think the petty is an insulation, if you will, to protect you from going back to someone's crap and their shell, right? So it's okay. If you think terrible thoughts and you feel bad and you're judging yourself, they go away, but they go away when they're ready to. For the month that I was depressed, After it happened, I was depressed fully. I felt all of my feelings. I listened to Joanna Jitten. You guys, I've shared all of my journey with you here. If you are interested, go back. Maybe I'll make a playlist of just how I coped with the narcissist and discarded the energy of that person. But it wasn't my first rodeo. And for most of you guys here listening, it's not yours either. It's not the first time someone's tried you. It's not the first time you've had to release them. It's not the first time you've seen the duplicity in the monster. It's not the first time the face and the mask has come off. It's not the first time that they've smear campaigned you, lied or gossiped about you behind your back. It's not the first time someone cheated on you and tried to stab you in the back repeatedly. It's not the first time. So while that narcissist may be new to that rodeo because it's the first time they did it with you, most of y'all know what to do and have been around a narcissist or two. So you know. So embrace your petty because they certainly do. And in that, yes, they do mirror you. You can have that for a moment because that's not where you stay. That's not the empath way. We love people. You'll expand your heart again. You'll stretch it open. You'll crack your chest and you will say, okay, put the love in that's next. I deserve it because I have served my time. Pain and suffering wasn't mighty fine. And then you move on. But if you're petty, embrace that. It's a defense mechanism and it's a protection mechanism. It's an installation mechanism. It's not get back. I don't suggest that we become vigilantes. I didn't retaliate to her in any degree. Not one single thing, not spiritually, not energetically, nothing. I was like, well, it happened to me. Finally, it's happened to me right in front of my eyes. It wasn't pleasant, but it was definitely necessary. And the reason I say that is in order to get out of the egg, it must be cracked. In order for us to emerge and stretch our backs to the sun and say, I am here, world, and this will never happen again, you've got to crack out of that shell, and that's a painful and uncomfortable process. The narcissists had you insulated, and they wanted less and less and less for you. They were depriving you of oxygen, of light, of people, of connections, of community. They didn't want anybody to know about their duplicity and their disgustingness. So, I suggest you crack out of your own shell and tell the world or let the world see. Don't try to fight them in the smear campaign. I did not fight her on the ground she was in my case, right? And most narcissists I didn't, but you learn that lesson after going through a few. Fight the narcissist by loving you. That's really the truth. I know it sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. You are not going to out smear campaign. In my dynamic specifically, this was a racist woman who was around racist people. What light were they going to see? You know, what were they going to see? Not maybe not everybody in her camp was racist, or not everybody didn't know. There was maybe one or two people that might have been like, oh, I kind of see the truth, or I've seen her bad behavior before, or she's done this to me too, or whatever the case may be, right? But their leaning was going to be towards her leaning. Was I going to go in there and write a dissertation and hope that these rednecks were going to read it? Come on, y'all. That was not going to be my story. So what was I supposed to do? So sometimes we will not have the the pleasure of trying to like counter each of their smear campaign arguments. I could not out smear campaign her. And so I decided to just not get in the mud with her at all. I was like, she can say whatever she wants to about me. She has been anyway. She's been gossiping and telling my business and doing all kinds of betrayal, disloyal things, right? That's what a narcissist loves to do. They gaslight you. And then people start treating you differently, acting weird, and they have smoke for you, and you're like, what happened? So you think you will not have a petty response to that? You think you will not feel petty and want to quote unquote get them back? I don't suggest you do, and I tell you I did not. But I knew that it would come back to her. Because listen, let's go higher here, since we're divine feminines. If you're on a twin flame journey, quote unquote, with this toxic person, you're distorted masculine, you are mirroring each other's experiences. So here's the kicker that they don't know, that it's not just petty on your end. It will become the petty show. Everything that they did to you will come back to them. It is not about just karma that you wish on them. That's how karma works, my friend. You will feel how someone made you feel, okay, or how you made someone else feel. So maybe they didn't love you at all, right? And they go on to the third party, but they really do love the third party to whatever degree a narcissist can love. This is all relative, guys. We know narcissists aren't capable of real love or connection, but maybe they really feel the deepest whatever, you know, human feelings they've ever felt because they're demons, right? And they're like, this third party is the end, the beginning, and everything. And that third party treats them exactly how they treated you. That's the work that karma will do. Now, if you think and you're hoping, I hope it happens to them too, that's petty, okay, but it's not created because of you. They will feel that and experience that. So listen too, a smear campaign that a narcissist does will be returned to them tenfold because of you. What does the Bible say? Let's go spiritually too here. There's a lot of people in here that are fantastic, but they're not hitting all of these levels. And I think it's a mind, body, and soul approach. Touch not my beloved and do my prophet no harm. You guys prophesied over yourselves and saw the future, and you knew things were going to be happening, and you acted on it. Maybe you talked about it. Maybe you tried to warn them, right? Touch not my prophet and do my beloved no harm. You are the beloved of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost if you believe in it. You're the beloved of the universe if you believe in that. You're beloved of the Creator, the creation, source, whatever you call it. You are the beloved of that. Why? Because we are earth angels. Why? Because we are empaths. Why? Because we incarnated with a heavy weight on our back and we were treated probably terribly for the first half of our lives. And finally, we emerge and we are wise. There is a price for our pain, but there will be retribution for their trauma and drama. And it's nothing that you wish on them, mama. So don't beat yourself up. Yeah, I don't care if you thought it 10,000 times in the first day after you broke up, right? You are not responsible for that. And also, they will get back what they give because that's the way the world exists. So many people in readings ask me, did they get their karma? And I literally bought cards specifically to deal with the themes of karma because I wanted to give that answer. But I can give you the same answer. I can read specifically what's going to happen to them, certainly. But I can discern because I study astrology where your Saturn placement is in your chart is exactly where their karma is going to be. So wherever Saturn falls in your astrological chart, so for me it was in the area Saturn falls in the area of health, work, and routine, and various things of that nature. My stomach issues are all Saturn issues. These are the things I'm here to evolve and work through in this life, right? And I knew that that would be where her karma would be. So things in the detriment, though, things would be affecting her weirdly in that way. And some of that karma started to play out. She started having weird surgeries and stuff like that prior to us even. That's how I knew she was wild. My angels are like, pay attention to what's happening to her. She's already starting to get her karma way before I even left. Okay, so I think it was like a some kind of and God forbid if you guys have ever had this, but she had, I think, a gallbladder surgery or something, and that was my first indication of her treachery. I don't know why that my angels just made the connection for me. They were like, you see what's happening here. She's already experiencing karma in the house where you deal with your own issues with karma and working things out health wise, except yours are evolving better, meaning like I got healthier. I got unhealthy. It was not good, but then I got very, very, like, a lot of things were reversed, and it was crazy, really crazy how how we mirrored each other but backwards. So that's what I don't want you to doubt with your quote unquote person. Don't like say, well, they're living a good life and they're in love with their person, and I see them every day and they're on the sea-doo and they're barbecuing and whatever. Okay, don't worry. Karma has a way. She never forgets an address. She'll find them someday. Okay, whether you see it or not. And a lot of you guys, that's the last message I'll leave you with this morning because I've got to get going here. Yeah, 3313. Yep. Check out that angel number that just popped up on my screen. 3313. What I want to tell you, that's Ascended Masters with you, 333, but one is the beginning. We're starting again, okay? So listen, when don't be too attached to that because you can lose yourself. I have read for people for years that are like so invested in what's happening with their ex and when are they going to break up and when is it going to be rocky with them. I'm so grateful. When I say there, but for the grace of God, go any of us. I don't judge you if you're there, but I'm so grateful that was not my plight to be in that kind of despair. Don't be invested in someone's breakup. It's toxic. It's hockey Loki. I totally get why we would go there, but it is toxic. If anything, the greatest thing you can do if you want to be super petty is bless them to stay exactly where they're at. If they love it, seal them in it energetically. Your words are powerful too. They didn't want to set themselves free. Absolutely. Excellent. And because I love y'all. And even the person that betrayed me and was horrible to me and that was judging me and was embarrassed of me and was saying someone else was better than me, better looking, better this, better that, all the things, right? And she said it to my face too. It wasn't just like speculation and conjecture. I said, oh, this is your favoriteest of booze? Excellent. I seal you two. And so it is. We are powerful, sis. Do not underestimate it. So many women get bitter about it and they're like, I don't want them to be with that person, anybody but that person. No, 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 no. It's like with Tumble. No, no, no. Exactly that person. Because what you may not realize, and me as a psychic who has done this for years and worked with all kinds of couples all over the world and all kinds of feminines that are coming into themselves and becoming their empress selves, I promise you, the person that they choose is the lowest vibrational person, and they were sent to free you. They were a demonic agent that was literally sent in to distract them to free you. And the deepest regret that they will have is the person that they choose. And I don't know that off of like my person and her confession to me. Well, I know that about what she said about that person. That person in our case was named Lindsay. You guys have heard me talk about her. We all have our own Lindsays, yeah. So I know that because she told me about how horrible she is, but I know it from men that I've talked to that are like, I don't know why I went that direction. I know it from random conversations I've had with strangers. I know it from the clients that I have, the hundreds of clients I've worked with over the years, thousands really of clients that I've worked with over the years. And I know that so many people have rejections about choosing that third party. So when you're like, anybody but them, when are they going to break up? Oh, no, no, no. Let them continue to fill their cup. That's the good kind of petty, y'all. Tap into that. Let them stay right where they're at. You know, I once had someone explain to me that people have stations in life where they're meant to be. They're never going to evolve past it, and you can't try to bring someone on your journey. My sweet empaths, we do that all the time. We're like, come with me. The air up here is fine. They're not supposed to ascend with you. Message: if you've noticed that you've had stagnancy in your finances, it's because you were attached to somebody who did not mean well for you, usually the narcissist. Okay, that was such a powerful lesson for me, especially, and that's when I was like, oh, I'm gonna be super petty forever regarding never wanting you around me. Like, you are the devil as far as I'm concerned, because I realized how my material gain or lack was directly connected to having carrying that narcissist on my back. I was not able to break through to the tax bracket. Now, got, careful what you ask for because you just might get it. I broke out of getting kickbacks. What do you call it? Refunds. We get our tax refund, and now I am an entrepreneur, and Mama pays her taxes. Okay, Mama has to pay the government her taxes, and that started a few years for me. But when it exploded in the best way, when it was like, oh, you're a real person, you've changed tax brackets, it was when I got the narcissist off my back. This narcissist who loved a tax bracket kickback and was doing all kinds of tax fraud and scamming stuff and using her kids and other people's kids and was wild and doing anything with eggs and children that she could. I'll leave that to your imagination. I promise you, it was a complete flip and reversal. It was like, oh, now you're going to pay, but that's okay. But you're elevating too. And money will find you. Also, empath, speaking of, I want you to just speak this over yourself. For someone here needs to hear this. Money loves you. Money walks into the room and it looks around the room and it says, I want to be friends with her. That's something that I didn't understand we could manifest. But when you divest from the narcissist, you get that. Specifically, money finds me, money looks for me, money falls on me. I woke up this morning and someone had just sent me money randomly. It happens all the time, and I'm not saying that to just brag. I'm telling you, it's your birthright. It's what's in escrow for you. As soon as I start thinking in the past, it's they really work with me, my angels. As soon as I would start thinking like, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay this, oh, da 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 da, then the money would just start like coming to me. Clients would just start popping up for me. That is a life I cultivated, and I tilled the soil of that for years. So now there's a harvest here to some degree, and it will only grow exponentially. However, for a long time, that's not the way it would be. Especially when I was attached to the narcissist. I was living in her abject poverty because she didn't believe in growth and potential and expansion unless it was scammy. And what happens? Easy come, easy go. And my angel said to me, your money will grow and grow and grow. And it's not just your finances, it's your abundance, it's your energy, it's your connection, it's your cachet, it's your influence. It will grow every day. The narcissist wants you to be in lack. So you judge yourself when you get them off your back. You're like, I'm being petty. But no, you had someone who was a succubus. And then you guys have been pregnant. Someone who was actually literally trying to create a new self, but not in a holistic way like pregnancy is. They were an alien in your body, and they were taking everything, and they wanted to rip themselves out of your stomach, like on Alien with Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, that. So you think you're a bad person because you were a little petty? No, girl. You're allowed to think whatever you thought, but you're also allowed to move on. And you're supposed to. And that's why I say don't let the petty trap get you. Be there, but not forever, okay? Because I don't want to talk to you in 20 years when you're like, are they broken up with their ex? I hope she stays with her forever, forever, and ever, and ever, and ever. It's the best thing that could have happened. But also, again, because I love love, I never want anybody, even demons, to be apart. Like, find your demon counterpart. My mother always taught me every stinking cheese has its wine. And I thought that's such a non eloquent statement, mother, but she's right. Every stinking cheese has its wine pair. If your ex narc has found a new supply, let them stay there. Better them being driven crazy than you. Better them trying to rub together two pennies than you. Better them sharing their poverty consciousness than you. Better them trying to figure out who they have to rob, steal, kill, destroy. Better them figuring out which level of cocktails for their STDs they're going to share. Y'all, you don't want to be there. That's the petty you don't want to be part of. So if you have a little thoughts, a few repetitive thoughts while you're in despair, I forgive you. I see you, boo, and I did too. But I didn't stay there because God has so much more for you. Okay? All right, my loves. I adore you. Oh, I have someone here. Momo's Happy Place. Good morning, and thank you for sharing your wisdom. You are the light that brings clarity during the fog of confusion. Oh, Momo's Happy Place, you're gonna make me cry. You are the light that brings clarity during the fog of confusion, girl. You dropping rhymes too this morning, Miss Johnny Cochran. I love you, Momo's Happy Place. You know my affinity for you because of your name. Like, quite literally, you are like my inner child being healed, and I'm so grateful. That's another thing, guys. Pay attention to all the beautiful ways that God will show up for you once you start to go on your journey. And Momo's Happy Place. Oh, Mr. Chalk Chalk, hello. Oh, thank you, Momo's Happy Place. Mr. Chalk Chalk, I love you. Legos, let's go. Mr. Chalk Chalk, I'm not even going to lie, sir. I'm not even going to lie. Mr. Chalk Chalk, drop me an email. I'm going to tell you my email right now. I would like to talk to you if at all possible. It is M as in Monet. It is B as in boy. It is N as in Nancy, A as in apple, T as in Thomas, T as in Thomas, A as in apple at yahoo.com. MBNATTA at yahoo.com. Please send me an email today, Mr. Chalk Chalk, and I'm going to email you back. All right. I am so grateful that you guys popped in. I love you too, Mr. Chalk Chalk, and Momo's Happy Place, man. You made my day. I'm so grateful for you guys, you know? Truly, every day. I love coming on here. I love having my tea in the morning or my coffee. Today it's tea, but I like having my hydration with you actually because you excuse me. Ooh, there's the effects of my tea. You guys replenish me, and I am so grateful that I have something that replenishes you because that's what any good relationship should be, whether it's parasocially or actually. We are supposed to be engaging in reciprocity. So it's not that you just come here and I take from you, and it's not that you come here and you should just take from me. The thing that I love about so many of you guys that comment here, my day ones and loyal subscribers and people that are friends and kindred spirits really, is that there is reciprocity. We are giving and taking. So I love the energy exchange. It's one of the reasons that I love when you pop in the live and talk to me. It's my favorite thing. And y'all know my love language is words of affirmation. So when you talk to me, my heart sings. So my most happy place. You have the best day. Wishing you many blessings and productivity today. Mr. Chalk Chalk, you email me, sir. And thank you, sir. I see your message that you will message me. And for anybody else listening on the playback, live out loud and live purposely. And it's okay if you're a little petty. All right. I love you so much. Come back and join me next time, and we'll continue to evolve together.